Recently, a court in Nuremberg, Germany, freed a 20-year-old Afghan student asylum seeker who was held in custody while waiting to be deported back to Afghanistan. The court freed him because German Chancellor Angela Merkel postponed all deportations to Afghanistan until July. Meanwhile, police violently clashed with around 300 students over his deportation. These students were his classmates, though some of them were just there just because they were anti-police. 9 police officers were injured in the event. Lots of people were detained, but there were no arrests. And afterwards, close to 100 protesters marched the Nuremberg streets towards local immigration and naturalization services, all over one Afghan student who's an asylum seeker. Although this is just a case of the government doing their job by deporting those who are not refugees and who are in the country illegally, the students did all that just for him. And who is this Afghan student who's the asylum seeker, you might ask?
He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis.
He's actually not the most interesting man in the world. He's a pretty darn normal bloke, to be honest, and there's certainly nothing about him that suggests he himself is a criminal other than the fact that he's within Germany illegally. But the students' responses to all this leaves me wondering, what happened to Europe's youth? According to a new survey taken by the European Union titled Generation What, when young people ages 18 to 34 were asked the question, would you join a large-scale uprising against the government, well over 50% of young people in Greece, Italy, Spain, France, and Czech Republic said they would join a large-scale uprising against their government. They've given up on the democratic process, it seems. They've just entered into violence when given the chance. In Germany, by the way, 37% of young people said they would join an uprising against their own government. So if that many young people would join an uprising against their very own government, is it any surprise then that some would seek violence when given the chance? All it took for these young people to start acting violent is one classmate being legally deported back to his own country. His immigration status failed, and hundreds of young people looking for an excuse to uprise against the government did exactly that, uprise against the police. The students' responses to all this also leaves me wondering, what happened to the respect and admiration for the work of police officers? The police have a tough job. They enforce the law, a law that includes deporting legal migrants. They are assigned to protect people, sometimes to protect people from the migrants the left protects. So to block the police from doing their very own job is pretty outrageous. We all rely on the police when we're in danger, yet this is how we treat them? We've seen Black Lives Matter members disrespecting and hating on the police, and recently we've seen Antifa attacking the police or staging mass protests against the police. Do you see the pattern here? The left, especially those who are young and leftist, have no respect and admiration for the much-needed work the police do. In this case, these students are blocking the police from doing their job. The Afghan will be deported back to Afghanistan or somewhere else. And if you were his friend, that's tough luck, man. The fact that so many people felt the need to do this to the police shows just how much respect we have for them as a civilization. Well, I, for one, am getting pretty sick and tired of how we treat the police. I'm Jay Feza from the Rebel.Media. Hey, if you enjoyed that video, like and subscribe to the Rebel Edge.